Johnny laughed with everyone, right? Not quite. These 20 guests made him furious, betrayed, even speechless. One nearly got banned mid-show. Another made him break his biggest friendship. You'll never guess who made the top 5.
Number 20, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
The cat on her lap, and she said to you, "Do you want to pet my pussy?" And my son said that you said, "I'd love to if you'd remove that damn cat."
She leaned in, smiled, and asked Johnny if he wanted to pet her pussy while holding a cat in her lap. Carson froze. Zsa Zsa Gabor's infamous double entendre became one of The Tonight Show's most censored and whispered about moments. The moment aired just once before being pulled from reruns forever. Johnny, known for quick comebacks, was visibly stunned, giving only a polite smirk before abruptly cutting to commercial. But the chaos didn't end there. Gabbor was known for refusing pre-show prep, snapping at crew members, and once demanded a mid-show wardrobe change. She interrupted other guests, overtalked Johnny, and reportedly insisted on her own lighting setup. Backstage, Carson reportedly muttered, "Never again." Gabbor was unofficially blacklisted from the show, and the clip became a ghost, removed from all official archives. If that's how we're starting, just wait until you hear who physically confronted Carson on set. Number 19, Bob Hope.
Are we still on? Well, the way shows are being canceled, I may have to change my name to Ralph Williams. Now, I thought about retiring this year, but Sinatra beat me to it. It'd be too much to lose 2 sex symbols in 1 year.
America saw 2 comedy legends sharing the stage, but behind the scenes, Johnny called him a living prop and loathed every appearance. Bob Hope was forced onto Carson's show by NBC brass, often uninvited and uninterested. He demanded pre-scripted questions, refused to improvise, and often relied on cue cards to get through basic jokes. Johnny, a master of timing and spontaneity, felt suffocated. In private, he reportedly said, "Bob's got no timing anymore. He just walks out and reads." They didn't speak off camera, and their chemistry was pure performance. Hope's comedy felt dated, and Johnny resented how he interrupted other guests' momentum. One night, Carson cut Hope's mic early and blamed technical issues. The truth? He'd had enough. And that tension only escalates, because the next guest didn't just annoy Johnny, he threatened to beat him senseless. Number 18, Wayne Newton.
You had a rough time, did you not, with Johnny Carson?
I did.
Because he made fun of you too much?
Well, what happened is I had done his show many, many times and considered him a friend of mine.
He stormed backstage, pointed at Carson and said, "You ever say that again, I'll kick your ass." And Johnny believed him. Wayne Newton wasn't laughing when Johnny made repeated jokes about his appearance and masculinity on air. The final straw came when Carson mocked Newton in a monologue, suggesting he was more showgirl than showman. Newton confronted him in person, physically, aggressively, and without cameras around. Carson, known for his cool, stayed quiet, but everyone noticed. Newton was never invited back. Carson banned his name in writers' rooms, refused to respond publicly, and skipped Vegas events where Newton performed. Newton later told reporters Johnny was a coward and said no apology ever came. It was one of the only times Johnny Carson was visibly shaken by a guest, and that's what I'll show you again in just a second.
Number 17, Shelley Winters.
You know, this one is works.
Looks very serviceable.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, you know what I meant. How many jokes do you get about your name, Annie Potts?
She threw a drink at Carson mid-show, mocked his jokes, and once slapped a producer backstage for rushing her cue. Pure chaos. Shelley Winters was unpredictable every time she appeared. She'd show up drunk, overtalk everyone, and derail interviews by launching into unscripted personal rants, often about her sex life. Carson hated her tendency to ignore every note, and once muttered off camera, "She's a walking disaster." She bragged about affairs, insulted co-stars, and once tossed cue cards at a cameraman when lighting wasn't to her liking. On air, she interrupted Johnny so much that he stopped asking her questions entirely. Staff dreaded her arrival. She was banned after the drink incident and returned just once years later. Cold smiles, zero warmth. The vibe, toxic. But next, a guest brought porn stars to Johnny's set and tried to hijack the show. Number 16, Howard Stern. He brought porn stars to the studio, mocked Johnny's marriages, and forced NBC to bleep entire segments. Carson had zero patience for Howard Stern. During Stern's appearance, he turned the interview into a circus, interrupting, cursing, and even joking about Johnny's personal life. Carson, known for polished wit, reportedly told staff, "That's not comedy, that's vandalism." Stern insulted Ed McMahon on air and called Carson's monologue grandpa humor. NBC apologized to sponsors after the episode. Carson walked off set during rehearsal and refused to speak to Stern backstage. Afterward, he banned him permanently and instructed writers never again. Stern, proud of the chaos, later said he broke Carson's show, but what he really broke was Johnny's tolerance. If that sounds wild, wait until you see how Carson handled a roast that cut too deep. Number 15, Don Rickles. He called Johnny stiff, tossed his cue cards, and once walked off mid-interview just to mess with him. Carson never fully forgave it. Rickles' entire brand was insult comedy, but unlike most guests, he aimed directly at Carson, on and off the air. He mocked Johnny's timing, his marriages, and even said, "You're lucky I like you, or I'd destroy you." Carson laughed on camera, but was visibly uncomfortable. Behind the scenes, he referred to Rickles as a necessary evil. The tipping point came when Rickles crashed another taping, uninvited, broke a prop, and got a standing ovation. Johnny fumed. The two continued working together, but it was never warm. Rickles called it just part of the act. Carson, however, made sure he never had the last word again. Next up, what happens when a guest tries to sell you vitamins, books, and beauty products all in one appearance? Number 14, Suzanne Summers. She came to promote everything but herself. Books, vitamins, skincare, and Carson finally snapped. He told producers she thinks it's a shopping channel. Suzanne Summers turned every appearance into a self-promotion parade. She refused to engage in genuine conversation, instead redirecting answers back to her brand deals. Carson, who hated guests that ignored the flow of the show, was visibly irritated. During one segment, he interrupted with, "Is there anything you're not selling tonight?" She laughed. Johnny didn't. She demanded special lighting, refused backstage chit-chat, and once interrupted another guest segment to plug her product again. After that taping, Carson banned her quietly, no public announcement, just silence. When NBC asked to bring her back, Johnny replied, "Why? I've already seen the commercial." And coming up, an arrogant SNL star who thought he was too good for Carson's couch. Number 13, Chevy Chase.
He'll probably know the answer.
Okay, let's find out. Would you welcome Chevy Chase?
He showed up late, refused pre-show prep, and called Johnny old news behind the curtain. Carson never let that insult slide. Chevy Chase walked into The Tonight Show like it was his own stage. He dismissed the monologue as outdated and mocked Carson's style off camera. During the interview, he overpowered the conversation, tossing in smug jokes and avoiding any real dialogue. Carson smiled, but behind the scenes, he was livid. He later told staff, "Chevy doesn't get it. He never did." Chevy tried returning in later years, but Carson personally blocked every attempt. When Chase's own talk show failed, Johnny reportedly chuckled and said, "Told you. If you think that's icy, just wait until we hit a betrayal so personal." Johnny never spoke to the guest again, ever. Number 12, Milton Burl.
Good to see you. Johnny, it's so good to see you. I really mean it.
Thank you, Milton.
And I want to thank you for that marvelous introduction.
I meant it.
It's exactly the way I wrote it. I liked, oh, by the way,
Called Johnny a lightweight, stole the spotlight, and mocked The Tonight Show format. Their rivalry was decades deep and full of resentment. Milton Burl thought he owned NBC. When he appeared on Johnny's show, he treated it like his own stage. He interrupted segments, went way over his time, and threw out Carson's script mid-show. Once, Johnny snapped and told him to shut up, live on air. Offstage, they argued about Burl's ego, with Carson telling producers he thinks he invented comedy. Burl later mocked Johnny's timing in interviews. Carson responded by banning him permanently. He refused to attend Burl's NBC anniversary special, and when Burl passed, Johnny didn't issue a single public word. That silence said it all. Now, let's talk about the Queen of Pop and the night she left Johnny absolutely speechless. Number 11, Madonna.
No, I mean, what I'm wearing right now is just something I bought in a lingerie store.
Oh, no, what? I may not be up on these things exactly, but what would you
What
call
am I wearing?
Yeah, if I went into a lingerie shop.
She flirted, cursed, chewed gum, and called Johnny cute for an old man. Carson hated every second and banned her on the spot. Madonna's appearance was meant to be edgy, but it spiraled into awkwardness fast. She ignored Carson's questions, threw in explicit jokes, and chewed gum throughout the interview. At one point, she called The Tonight Show a bit square and said she was just here to wake things up. Carson smiled politely, but as soon as the cameras cut, he reportedly said, "She's desperate, not daring." NBC tried to rebook her a year later. Carson refused. The episode was heavily edited, and her name was scrubbed from future guest lists. Off camera, Johnny called her the death of charm. And up next, a Hollywood legend who treated Carson like his personal PR team, and it did not end well. Number 10, Tony Curtis. He lit a cigarette mid-interview, bragged nonstop, and called Carson too uptight on national TV. Johnny never invited him back. Tony Curtis came on the show acting like a movie star from another planet. He ignored questions, dropped names endlessly, and turned every segment into a tribute to himself. Johnny, known for keeping interviews tight and witty, was visibly annoyed. At one point, Curtis lit a real cigarette, shrugged, and said, "This isn't a funeral, Johnny." After the segment, Carson reportedly said, "He talks, but never says anything." Curtis was cut from reruns, removed from the guest rotation, and ghosted by Carson. His name never came up again, until someone asked Johnny who his worst guest was. His answer? "You wouldn't know him. He used to be famous." The next guest, a tornado of energy Carson could never control. Number 9, Jerry Lewis.
10 years ago, and I'm a big fan of the show. You haven't improved that much. This is so nice. It really is. What? 10 years? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Hijacked segments, roasted Carson live, and once threw cue cards at a stagehand. Johnny considered him a complete nightmare. Jerry Lewis was unpredictable and intense, more interested in chaos than conversation. He'd take over entire shows, ignore Johnny's questions, and barrel through stories like he was on his own set. During one infamous segment, he called Johnny too stiff, then threw Johnny's cue cards over his shoulder. The audience howled. Carson didn't. Backstage, they argued about timing and control. Jerry mocked Johnny's jokes, and Carson told staff afterward, "I'm done. No more clowning from him." He never invited Lewis back, never spoke his name again, and skipped every NBC event Jerry was attached to. But that's nothing compared to what happens when you mix fame, alcohol, and one of the most awkward interviews in talk show history. Number 8, Truman Capot. He showed up drunk, slurred his way through the segment, and insulted Johnny's audience intelligence. Carson wanted him gone mid-interview. Capot's appearance was legendary, for all the wrong reasons. He arrived visibly intoxicated, mumbled incoherently, and derailed the show's energy within seconds. At one point, he called the Tonight Show audience middlebrow entertainment seekers, then laughed at his own joke while the crowd sat silent. Johnny tried to steer things back on course, but Capot wasn't interested. After the taping, Carson reportedly said, "He turned a comedy hour into a hostage situation." NBC cut the episode short, and Carson never allowed Capot back. He even refused to appear on future literary panels if Capot was booked. And next, what happens when a rising star is so cold on air, Carson decides she's never coming back. Number 7. Ellen DeGeneres.
I'm a godmother now. It's Ford, just in case you ever see him. And calls me God for short. I think it's good. I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be a mother, though. That's just such a big, You see these mothers with babies, and they always talk for the baby.
Polished, calculated, and completely unreadable, Ellen's interview felt like marketing, not a moment. Carson never connected and never asked her back. Ellen was a rising stand-up star when she first appeared on The Tonight Show, but while her material worked on stage, her interview felt over-rehearsed and stiff. Carson asked open-ended questions, she gave scripted punchline answers. She declined pre-show banter, avoided off-topic riffs, and showed no natural flow. Johnny reportedly said, "She's got a good act, just not here." Writers noted she didn't laugh at Johnny's jokes and came off icy backstage. Carson told producers to skip any future invites. No feud, no drama, just silence. She was one of the few guests never brought back, not even for a second shot. But coming up next, the most powerful guest Carson ever rejected permanently. Number 6. Frank Sinatra. He brought a mob-sized entourage, showed up late, and treated Johnny's show like a personal press tour. Carson shut it down, fast. Sinatra hadn't been on The Tonight Show in years, and when he finally appeared, it wasn't worth the wait. He arrived with security guards, handlers, and demands. Johnny hated guests who needed babysitting, and Frank's insistence on scripted questions didn't help. He barely answered anything directly, instead steering every moment toward promoting a project. Carson later said, "It felt more like a power play than a conversation." Tensions worsened when Sinatra left during a commercial break, without saying goodbye. NBC begged Johnny to rebook him. He refused. Frank was never seen on Carson's couch again. And now, the betrayal that hurt the most, a close friend, a sudden goodbye, and no forgiveness, ever.
Number 5. Joan Rivers.
Active in Russia. Russian women. Russia is the only country.
She launched her own talk show behind Johnny's back without telling him. He never spoke to her again. Joan Rivers was more than a guest. She was Johnny's protégé, one of the few people he truly supported. But when she accepted a rival late-night offer from Fox, she didn't call Carson to tell him. He found out through the press. Carson saw it as betrayal. He immediately banned her for life, refused her apology, and cut off all contact. Joan claimed she was heartbroken by the silence. Carson, he erased her from everything, reruns, guest lists, even private NBC events. He once told Ed McMahon, if she didn't respect the call, she didn't respect the friendship. And yet, what happened with the next guest was even more personal, a second chance that ended in total humiliation. Number 4. Arnold Schwarzenegger. His first visit was tense, but on his second, Arnold crossed a line Carson couldn't ignore and paid the price with a lifetime ban. Arnold returned to The Tonight Show during his Terminator 2 fame spike, expecting a hero's welcome. Instead, he joked that Johnny looked stiff compared to real action stars and mocked his monologue backstage. Carson heard it and canceled the interview hours before taping. NBC panicked, but Johnny stood firm. He's muscle, not class. Writers shredded Arnold's question cards. His entourage tried smoothing things over. Carson refused. He never mentioned him again, even when Arnold entered politics. This wasn't just a grudge, it was the final blacklist Johnny ever handed down. But the next guest didn't insult Carson with words. He literally set The Tonight Show on fire. Number 3. Bobcat Goldthwait. He screamed, cursed, and set The Tonight Show couch on fire. Carson's smile vanished, and so did Bobcat from late night, forever. Bobcat's 1994 appearance was legendary for all the wrong reasons. He stormed the set, lit his lighter, and torched the couch as a stunt. The audience gasped. Carson went silent. The show cut to commercial early. NBC had to replace furniture and apologize to sponsors. Johnny refused to shake his hand, muttering, "That wasn't comedy, it was arson." Producers banned him immediately. Writers dubbed the incident The Couch Funeral. Bobcat later tried to explain it as performance art, but Carson had already moved on, without a word. And if you think Fire was bad, wait until you meet the guest Johnny quietly erased from Tonight Show history forever. Number 2. Charles Groden. He wasn't rude, he wasn't drunk, he just never broke character. And Johnny Carson absolutely hated being left out of the joke. Charles Groden came on The Tonight Show pretending to be confrontational. He acted aloof, awkward, and even argumentative, all part of a bit Johnny was never in on. Viewers were confused. Johnny was furious. After multiple appearances, Carson realized Groden was trolling the show for laughs. He whispered backstage, "This isn't performance, it's sabotage." He banned Groden quietly. No drama, no statement, just permanent erasure. Writers were told, forget he exists. Even when Groden's films found success, Carson never brought him back. His episodes rarely aired in reruns. Only one guest remains, someone no one expected Johnny Carson to secretly despise. But insiders knew, and now so will you. Number 1. John Wayne. They smiled on camera, traded jokes, and shook hands. But off camera, Johnny Carson had one word for the Duke: phony. John Wayne was an American icon, but Carson reportedly found him condescending, overly rehearsed, and unwilling to drop his tough guy persona, even backstage. During one interview, Wayne refused to laugh at Johnny's jokes, corrected his questions, and brushed off comments with long-winded stories. Carson later told Ed McMahon, "He talks like he's still in a Western." Despite the respectful public image, Johnny avoided Wayne off set, skipped his funeral, and told staff he never let the real guy in. The tension was known only to insiders, until now. And that's the side of The Tonight Show you were never supposed to see. If this blew your mind, wait until you see what Johnny did off camera. Tap one of the videos on screen, hit like, subscribe, and dive into the Hollywood secrets they never wanted you to know. It only gets crazier from here.